the San Antonio Spurs, along with Mark Jackson, Kevin Calabro on hand. Injuries to talk about right off the top. San Antonio without Tony Parker and Sean Marion out of this Dallas lineup, Mark. And so George Hill will be getting a lot of time tonight. He'll start off the point guard for the San Antonio Spurs.
And George Hill, a guy that Greg Popovich really trusts as far as the ability to run the show, to defend, and minimize his mistakes on the floor.
And then Quentin Ross, now in his 6th year out of SMU, grew up right here in Dallas, will step in at the small forward. This is Roddy Beaubois driving into the lane. And the left-hand leader up and in for Beaubois, who has really come on the scene with a blast. He is from Guadeloupe, originally a low first-round draft choice of the Oklahoma City Thunder, traded to Dallas before the season began, and he's really been lighting things up so far for the Mavericks, who have won 3 in a row coming back off the road.
And talking to Coach Rick Carlisle, one thing he loves about him is he brings something to the table that nobody else on the floor can do. Tremendous athlete, can finish at the rim, and can get anywhere he wants on the court.
This is Drew Gooden backing in on Duncan, laying it up and in. And Gooden has been outstanding in the last couple of ball games, stepping in to start for the departed Eric Dampier, who's out with an illness. He's missed the last 2 games.
Drew Gooden has played outstanding basketball, really on the boards, also giving him some bonus points on the offensive end. Very good on the defensive end.
Duncan turns in the lane, misses. Kidd will clear it. 2 teams met 7 days ago down in San Antonio when the Spurs beat the Mavericks without Parker and without Duncan. Dallas is off to a very good lead by getting it in deep. They lead at 6-0.
Just what they want to do, get stops, push the basketball, and Drew Gooden once again. Offensive rebound and on the block, but how about the young fella? Drew Gooden, good job on the block, shooting over the contested hand of Tim Duncan. Outstanding job setting the tone. Mark Cuban loving it, and so does the Dallas Mavericks. But this is how you start the basketball game. Get into the seams, force the issue, put the pressure on the Spurs.
ESPN's presentation of NBA Win.
Down here in Dallas, Texas, the Mavericks off to a very good start, leading San Antonio 6-0, about a minute and a half in. Let's go down to the court now and check in with Heather Cox.
Well, Kevin, both teams without impact players due to ankle injuries. The Spurs' Tony Duncan re-aggravated an ankle injury on Saturday and hasn't practiced since. Both Parker and Greg Popovich are frustrated. They came into the season with high hopes. Pop said he was prepared to make Tony his primary offensive weapon, but the ankle injury has derailed those plans so far. He will not play tomorrow, but is told to be day-to-day after that. Now, Dallas also hit by the ankle bug. Sean Marion will not play tonight after spraining his ankle on Monday. Hopes to play later this week, guys.
Heather, thanks very much for checking in. Manu Ginobili has been pressed into service as a starter now for San Antonio. Sean Marion resting on the Dallas bench as both teams down. Their coaches put on the thinking cap and shuttle players in and out. Howard is out of left ankle surgery. Been out for 8 games. Dampier's missed the last 2. Sean Marion turned the ankle late in the game. A win at Milwaukee in overtime.
I like talking to Coach Popovich before the ball game. He says, hey, no excuses as far as injuries are concerned. Every team is going to go through it as Jason Kidd comes up with the steal and the finish on the other end. Every team is going to go through it. Here's where your other guys, you work with the depth of a basketball team. Who's going to step up and hold the fort down?
Well, his San Antonio club checks in at 4-4. They are 0-3 on the road. Hill up top to Duncan. Tim Duncan has come back from the offseason slim down. Gone back into the pool. He is swimming now. He is boxing as well. Greg Popovich told us before the game that's something that we do every year with a local pro down there in San Antonio. So Duncan takes it more seriously than anybody else. Beaubois outside. Ross rising for 3. McDyess with a rebound.
Did you know that Jeff Van Gundy used to box?
I didn't know that. Yeah. Never would have guessed that.
No, box oranges at the local grocery store.
I see. You're going to be here all week, right?
I'll be here all week.
Yeah. Thank you. 8-4 count. Dallas has been known as a quick starter. Greg Popovich before the game said so much, says we've got to hang with him in the first quarter. Then we want to pick up the tempo and the pace through 2 through 4. Here's Nowitzki from long range, and if he can hit that, it's going to be a long night.
So it's about executing a game plan and a strategy that's going to give you the best chance to win. If you're the San Antonio Spurs, you want to slow it down, control the energy and the intensity of the ball game, and don't allow this Mavericks team to get off to the races.
Well, wow, from Kidd driving into the lane. May have forced that one. Kidd after the rebound lost it out of bounds.
You know, and the same thing, if you're the Dallas Mavericks, you want to go at this aging San Antonio Spurs team. So you want to get stops and push the ball in transition and get your players at their best in the open floor.
Both teams statistically the oldest in the NBA, both at 29.2 months. Duncan has attempted 5 shots, spins back between the double team. They did a great job to double him down on the post, and he walked with the ball. Orlando trends to the older side. So does Boston and New Orleans. Kidd remains very, very spry. He has been in the league now. This is 16th campaign. Off the pick and roll. Duncan with a rebound. Jefferson at 29 in the earlier meeting between the two teams. Missed that one under heavy defense. Duncan up top. Has to get it off to beat the clock. Dubois. Hard drive. Nice kick. Nowitzki covered by Manu. Kidd's 3 is off the mark.
You want to talk about respect? Well, Tim Duncan gets called for the traveling violation, but on the move, clocks Dirk Nowitzki, and then afterwards says, hey, you okay? We can go at it, but when the whistle blows, it is not about hurting each other. It's nothing but respect and admiration for what they've both been able to accomplish.
Duncan sets the screen out around the three-point line, but gets off a 15-footer. He's able to dribble into the circle and get off a good look.
You can tell that's where the San Antonio Spurs want to control the basketball game. Put the ball into the hands of Tim Duncan.
He's 3 for 6 here early. Hill loses a shoot.
You know, but that's really where they missed Tony Parker, his ability to just run offense without calling sets. Isolations, pick and rolls, get guys rhythm early on with his creativity with the basketball. Now you look on the floor and they can't do that other than Duncan on the block.
McDyess defensively on Nowitzki trying to slip around in front of him, but a foul called by Jim Capers over there. Greg Popovich, 14 years at the helm of the San Antonio Spurs. Championships in 99, 03, 05, and 07. And a pretty good record up there. 6.74 winning percentage for Popovich.
And you look and you say, well, he's had Tim Duncan, he had David Robertson and Parker and Ginobili and all those guys, and Avery Johnson and Sean Elliott. The bottom line is that the guy has outcoached a lot of people.
And since when is it new that great players win championships? Ordinarily, that's the way that shakes out, right?
No question about it. But this guy is one of the all-time great coaches when you talk about Popovich. And there's another guy on the other side, Rick Carlisle, a former assistant coach and a former teammate of mine with the New York Knicks when I first started.
Dubois going lefty on the run, scooping it by McDyess. This kid's 20 years old, and he shows a real craftiness out there. Very creative, clever player.
Well, knows how to get to the cup. Good job early on already. We see it in flashes of his ability to put the ball on the floor and get where he wants.
Gooden closes out on Ginobili. Too late. Got rid of it. 12-8. Dallas on top. 6:10 to go. First quarter. Parker out for San Antonio. Marion, Dampier, and Josh Howard out for the Dallas Mavericks. Tim Thomas could play tonight for Dallas.
You look at this lineup on the floor for the Spurs right now. This is a scoring lineup. You talk about it, the 1, 2, and 3, and Ginobili, Jefferson, and Mason. 3 guys that can score in bunches. And then you have a front line in McDyess and Duncan who can really do some damage.
Jefferson working on his old teammate from the Jersey days, Jason Kidd. Pass intended in deep, deflected out, And Dallas will get it back with 7 to shoot. Actually, San Antonio ball with 7 to shoot.
Shows you the versatility of Jason Kidd, able to defend multiple positions. Right now, he's guarding the small forward and Richard Jefferson.
Kidd 6'4", stout, about 215. Duncan the fader with 5 to shoot. Kidd makes Beaubois obviously function out on the floor with a quick outlet, and that allows him to get into that jumper from the elbow.
Exactly what Rick Carlisle wants. Push the basketball and make plays, and certainly this young fella is having a heck of a ball game to start.
Beaubois 3 for 4. Ginobili the other way. Tipped out. Beaubois across midcourt. He's got one man to beat. It's McDyess. Circles it outside to Nowitzki. Good recovery by Ross. Beaubois 3. Rimming. And you can hear the crowd's reaction when he gets the ball. They love it. Here's Jefferson on the break. Lead it up and in.
Jason Kidd well aware. He's played with Richard Jefferson in the past. Understands in transition, nothing you can do if Jefferson has the ball with a full steam.
Good game early. Dallas calls a timeout, leading by 4 with 4.5 minutes to go in the first. Both teams starting to quicken the pace now, getting up and down the floor.
Mavericks had their way early, but give the Spurs credit. Battling and sticking to it. Good job of getting a stop off to the races. The outlet pass from Duncan to RJ, and RJ does what he's known to do.
Stewart's got the studio with a Ford studio update. The New York Knicks and the Pacers. Knicks were down by as many as 19, but David Lee in the pass from Chris Duhon. Knicks come back and win it. Danny Granger had 30 points for the Pacers in the first half. Only 3 in the second half before fouling out, guys.
All right, Stewart, thank you very much. Back with Mark Jackson. Dallas on top 14-10 here at home. Mark Jackson very much in a New York state of mind, seeing as how the Yankees in November have outpaced the Knicks, Giants, Jets, and the Nets. That's a heck of a stat right there.
No, that's comical. That's hilarious. When you talk about the most wins in the metropolitan area and the Yankees with 2 tying the Knicks. And the Knicks had to win tonight because we was all set to get after them all. So that's awfully impressive when you talk about the Yankees. But if you're a New Yorker, you will take being the world champions.
And of course, the Nets really struggling, badly needing a win. 4.5 minutes left first quarter here in Dallas. Jason Terry is in now for the Mavericks. It's a team with Kidd, Nowitzki, Gooden, and Quentin Ross. And Bonner now will pick up on Nowitzki, but Dirk had that mid-block and hit the fadeaway jump shot.
And one thing that Greg Popovich says, we're going to send multiple guys at Dirk Nowitzki during the course of this ballgame, but we're going to try to defend them one-on-one. And if you're Dirk, you have to recognize it and then exploit the matchup.
Matt Bonner in now with Finley and Mason to go with Duncan, who's been the centerpiece. 2 to shoot. Bonner, a good three-point shooter, particularly from the corner, knocks it down.
That's good basketball. Dribble penetration and then finding the open man.
Spurs off to a 40% clip here in the early going. Dallas has been shooting very well at around 55% before the break. Terry missing here. And now Jefferson double. Good movement. Duncan to Bonner. And it is deflected by Terry right to the San Antonio bench with 14 to shoot. Bonner out of Florida, now in his 6th year. Greg Popovich still experimenting with his lineup this year early, looking for the right answers. They've, of course, done an overhaul to their roster, most notably Bruce Bowen and Fabricio Alberto, 2 starters a year ago. Key elements to the team that won 54. Traded for Richard Jefferson to Milwaukee. Kidd with a rebound.
And really a good trade, because if you talk about a proven guy, Richard Jefferson really takes pressure off of Tony Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan to carry this team all season long. He's a proven scorer.
Gooden really battling inside on Duncan, denies him the ball. They skip it, 13 to shoot. Finley now picked up by Tim Thomas, who's in the lineup, the longtime veteran out of Villanova. 3 seconds in the lane, whistled on San Antonio. Greg Popovich has a wired microphone. Here's what he has to say.
Boom, start the game with movement, ball movement, people movement, everybody touches it, unless you got something great. Remember, the more people move, the more the ball moves, their defense breaks down.
And really the difference is that's a sermon that he didn't have to preach in the past, but with new guys, he's got to tell them how we go about winning ball games, especially on the road. A lot of touches from everybody and then allow a rhythm to come.
Good effort. Couldn't roll it in. Bonner clears it, and Finley heads the other way. Finley, of course, played here in Dallas for several years. Dumps it in low. Was involved in the trade to Phoenix. That brought Jason Kidd over here to Dallas. 4 turnovers on the floor. NBA calendar, TNT Thursday, coverage beginning at 8. Phoenix at New Orleans, Chicago at Los Angeles to meet the Lakers. ESPN on Friday, coverage beginning at 7:30 Eastern. Orlando at Boston, Denver at the LA Clippers. At NBA TV on Saturday the 21st, coverage beginning at 8 Eastern. Washington at San Antonio. Along with Heather Cox, Mark Jackson, Kevin Calabro on hand. American Airlines Arena. Kidd letting it fly, and Bonner with a rebound. DeJuan Blair in the lineup, and he's an absolute load. 6'7", about 250. Out of the double team, finds Finley, and he cans a 3.
And Blair, a big-time rebounder. Absolutely a great rebounder for his size or for any size. Has a knack for going after the basketball.
Had position inside, but unfortunately was in the restricted area, and that goes against the defensive player. And so Ross will go to the line, count the basket.
And just what you want if you're the Dallas Mavericks. Continue to be disciplined on the offensive end, pushing the basketball. Good move by Ross. Realizing that Blair wasn't in position, takes it to his body, and then finishes with the opposite hand.
Keith Bogan steps in now for San Antonio. 7-year pro out of Kentucky. As Quentin Ross steps up. Ross with his first campaign down here in Dallas. Spent the majority of his career 4 years with the Los Angeles Clippers. Jose Juan Barea. Soto lets one fly, nearly broke the glass with that one. Finley with a rebound. Bonner, don't leave him open. That's the second 3 Bonner's hit.
Mike Finley once again putting the ball on the floor, making plays. You can tell that's the mindset of the Spurs, trying to create help situations and then find an open guy.
First lead for San Antonio, Mark, under a minute. Here in the first. Finley has numbers. Dallas gets back in the passing lanes. Mason, nice break off that screen, but couldn't finish. Drew the foul. He'll shoot 2.
Spurs really making a conscious effort of getting to the seams, whether it be off of isolations or pick and rolls, and either attacking the basket or finding wide open shooters.
Mason has played in 8 games, and this will just be his second free throw of the season. Thursday night on ESPN2, it's the semifinal games from the 2K Sports Classic benefiting Coaches versus Cancer. At 7, the number 24 Syracuse Orangemen face a tough number 12 California Bears team. And then at 9, the number 4 North Carolina Tar Heels take on the number 15 Ohio State Buckeyes.
I really like this substitution by Rick Carlisle. Brings in Dirk Nowitzki off the bench for the final possession for offensive purposes.
15 to shoot for Dallas. A differential of about 5 seconds on the shot to game clock. Barea waiting for Nowitzki to break off the carry down screen. Drives in. And a foul as Bonner got a piece of Dirk Nowitzki.
And the reason why I like that substitution is because if a ball game ends, you lose by 1 or 2 points. You think it was the last possession. Well, what about the last possession of the first quarter when you can have Dirk Nowitzki into the ball game? Put your best players on the floor and then trust that they're going to make the right plays.
Dallas has really spread the offense. Nowitzki gets off 2 attempts in 9 minutes here in the first quarter. And his first trip to the free throw line pays dividends. Bobois will come back in for the Mavericks, and Thomas will depart. Dirk missing, and San Antonio will have an opportunity here with Anthony Mason Jr. up the floor. Avoids Barea. Splits two defenders. Attempted to pass to Blair. San Antonio will not get off the shot. That ends the first quarter with San Antonio leading 21-19. Injuries have been an issue for both clubs, and San Antonio may have another issue as Manu Ginobili puts on the warm-up and is headed back toward the lineup. We'll find out more later. We'll come back and get the second quarter started from Dallas, where the Spurs visit the Mavericks tonight.
Welcome back to Dallas, joined by Spurs head coach Greg Popovich. And Pop, a week ago, you guys beat the Mavs by holding Dallas to 35% shooting. I know it's a much different lineup tonight, but how do you duplicate that effort?
Well, I think you just hit it on the head. You know, we've got to have the same attention to detail, the same focus. And both teams have people out, so it's a little bit strange matchup-wise. It looks like both teams at times don't know what they're doing.
Dallas is known as a very quick starting team. You told me before the game that your goal was to really slow them down in the first quarter. How satisfied are you with that effort?
Well, I think we did a pretty good job of that, except for Boubois. He hurt us badly, but in general, we did what we wanted to do.
Pop, thank you.
You talk about this young fella. If you're the fastest player on the floor, act like it. It's a great job of really forcing the issue, getting into the seams, and making plays, setting the tone for the Mavs.
And Mark, just a moment ago, Heather Cox told us that Ginobili, when leaving, went back to the locker room. And the word now from San Antonio's camp is that he is out with a left groin strain. So Manu Ginobili out, left groin strain.
Another tough loss for the Spurs. But as a veteran team and a veteran coach, they understand everybody's going to go through this. Your job is to find a way to win ball games.
Ginobili trying to stretch it out, do what he can. Just wasn't responding, and so finally they decided to shut it down.
You know, sometimes you got to be smart about those type of injuries, because you can push it and find yourself out for a couple of months as opposed to a couple of days.
Finley outside will raise. That was way off the mark. I don't think Humphries touched that. Blair trying to save it. It will be Dallas basketball. Dallas has Barea along with Thomas, Nowitzki, Terry, and Humphries. And San Antonio has the big fella, Juan Blair, down deep with Bonner, Finley, Mason. And now Keith Bogan out front to guard the ball. Terry, another good year this year, averaging nearly 18 a game. To Barea, in deep. Nice handoff. Humphries with the second effort.
There's a big guy that's been giving Rick Carlisle some quality minutes off that bench. Energy and making plays when he's put in position.
Humphries has been around a while now in his sixth year. Originally draft choice of the Utah Jazz. Nice reverse by Mason. Mason's made a real effort to get to the cup here early.
Well, he understands he's going to have to score some points in the absence of Tony Park and also Ginobili now. He's going to have to create some offense for this Spurs team.
San Antonio by a deuce, 23-21. Just underway here in the second quarter. Dallas comes in with a very good 8-3 record, 5-2 on the road coming into tonight's play. They and the Phoenix Suns had the best winning percentage on the road. Finley from distance.
No, if you're the Dallas Mavericks, you have to be committed to doing multiple things on the defensive end. Stopping penetration and then closing out to the shooters of the Spurs.
Spread floor, Barea on the high screen. Just steps right into a three and lets it go.
All you want as a playmaker is for the big guys to set solid screens and put you in position and knock down shots. Barea does exactly that.
San Antonio has canned 3 threes. Dallas with the first. 9 to shoot. Blair on the block. Sloppy handoff. Terry makes him pay. 4-on-2. Barea to Humphries. Up top. Lays it in.
Just what the doctor ordered. If you're the Mavericks, you have to push the basketball off of makes and also misses. Force the issue all night long against this Spurs defense.
Battle of benches here tonight in Dallas. Nowitzki is the only star power right now on the floor. Terry into the lane, lays it up and in. With all due respect to Jason Terry, who's been around a while, he's a star. Now in his 11th year. second on this team in scoring at 17.5. Maria has gotten Dallas going, making plays, and the Mavericks take a 3-point lead on a 6-0 run.
How about JJ having a good time? Knocks down the jump shot off the pick and roll, and then pushing the basketball in transition, get the defense in the air, hands it off to Humphries. Exactly what Rick Carlisle wants. Push the ball all night long.
Here in Dallas, Texas, the Mavericks on a 6-0 run have taken a 3-point lead, 28-25 on the visiting San Antonio Spurs here in the second quarter. It's an NBA Friday doubleheader at 8. Dwight Howard and the Magic take on Kevin Garnett and the Celtics. At 10:30, Carmelo Anthony and the Nuggets meet the Los Angeles Clippers. NBA Friday, Magic Celtics, Nuggets Clips on ESPN at ESPN360.com. Coverage beginning at 7:30 Eastern with Kia NBA shoot-around. Tonight against Oklahoma City, Rashard Lewis, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists.
Well, Rashard Lewis almost messed around and got a triple-double.
Native Texan, Rashard Lewis. Here's Mason. Rejected by Nowitzki. 7 to shoot, and San Antonio will get it back. Let's go down to Heather Cox with some news.
Well, Kevin, 50% of San Antonio's roster is new, so there's a lot of teaching already during the timeouts, even by veteran Tim Duncan, who during the last timeout got his coach together and actually led the timeout, sat in Pop's chair. Then Pop took over and said offensively, we're going through the motions. We're way too stagnant. I need action. I don't care what it is. Do backdoors, do cuts, just don't stand around. And Tim really trying to inspire this young new team.
All right, Heather, thank you. It was a question that we posed to Greg Popovich before the game. What does it take for you to win a championship this year? He says, for one thing, we need to return to being a top defensive team. Secondarily, we need to come together as a group, have respect for one another on the court, learn each other, and develop that front line. Blair, McDyess, those guys need to develop a bond with our perimeter guys.
And I love the fact that Popovich is secure enough to allow his leaders to lead. I've been around some coaches that say, hey, get out my chair. It's my time to talk. No, the bottom line is, at times your voice gets stale. Allow your leaders to send your message to the truth. That's outstanding trust in the guys, and give Tim Duncan credit. This team is exactly where they want to be right now at this point of this ballgame.
They need, obviously, to get something rolling on the road. They are 0-3, 4-1 at home. Averaging 109 at home, 89 on the road. And they give up a lot of points, or have thus far over their 8 games, just under 100 points per contest. That goes hand in hand with Popovich's comments just before the game. We need to become a defensive team first and foremost.
And they're playing better half-court defense right now. Where they're getting hurt is in transition.
Nowitzki did a great job to go backdoor that time and laid it up between both Duncan and Jefferson, and his foul. Nowitzki with a back cut, and he got everybody unaware. Duncan's first. Nowitzki, the 9th pick in the '98 draft by the Milwaukee Bucks. Traded with Pat Garrity down here for Robert Tractor Trailer. And the rest is history. MVP of '07 in the league.
They should press charges for whoever did that deal.
Well, things happen.
That's not fair. That's criminal.
It can set you back a long way, though, Ken, if you don't get it right.
And just imagine Dirk Nowitzki would still be playing for the Milwaukee Bucks and star.
In a heavily German community, too. Duncan. Follow-away hopper from the post won't go. Duncan steps to the line. Serendipitous developments, of course, led to Tim Duncan being drafted #1 by San Antonio. Took an injury to David Robinson, the Abra. And the Spurs fell to the bottom. Duncan became available. Things happen.
It worked out well. A lot of guys were able to live in nice neighborhoods and buy some fine things because of that.
Watch live games online with NBA League Pass broadband. Log on now to www.nba.com/LPBB. Did you get all that, Mark? To watch 3 games at once, use live game DVR and check out full season archives all season long. Mavs on top by 4. 7:21 to go. Second quarter. Kid in command. Overplayed by Jefferson. Tips it away from Terry.
With a good job by Richard Jefferson. Jason Terry is a guy that you have to stay on top of in the offensive set. It's a good job of fighting over screens and pursuing the basketball.
11 to shoot for Humphries, and he double dribble. He's not accustomed to being out so far from the rim handling the ball.
He shouldn't be. When you're on the floor with Jason Kidd, Jason Terry, and Dirk Nowitzki, and also J.J. Barrett, allow those guys to make a play for you as opposed to you with the ball in your hand.
George Hill, very nice player. Popovich speaks in glowing terms about Hill now in his second year. Down on the court. Duncan, double. This is Hill, 6 to shoot. Nowitzki with good defense. Jim Capper says he kicked the ball.
Yeah, I love George Hill as a player. Very poised, committed to getting better. And Dirk Nowitzki certainly put the left leg out there and tripped up Hill, but Hill's a guy from IUPUI, a small school in Indianapolis. Told me last week, a couple of weeks ago, he used to watch outside as the Pacers would practice and be jealous of my young son as he shot around.
Jefferson has the ball blocked. Duncan got it back. Jefferson goes right back to the rim, undeterred. Count the basket, and he goes to the line. But look at the block from Humphries.
This is just good defense, not giving up anything easy on the defensive end. Humphries does a good job of, not on my watch, RJ, but Richard Jefferson, one of the best in the business at forcing the issue and getting to the foul line. And now they say basket does not count, and the Spurs take it out on the side.
That's a great story about George Hill, though. I mean, you can just envision him outside at that great facility they have there in Indianapolis, Conseco Fieldhouse, peering in at the Pacers.
Just a reminder, you never know who's watching.
And this young man could have gone to other bigger schools, but he had a family commitment. He stayed in Indianapolis. Good for him. Things worked out for him. 26th pick overall in the 08 draft.
Which really tells you it does not matter what school you go to these days.
Right.
You're being watched all around this country. And if you have games, people will recognize it.
6.5 minutes to go. First half. Barea from Northeastern in Boston, raising for 3. Humphries, good hustle play out of the weeds to corral it. Reset for Dallas. Oh, McDyess says I had all ball. Leroy Richardson does not agree, and so Humphries shoots 2.
But you see Humphries all over the floor. Where the ball is, you find Humphries. Does a great job of doing exactly other than the last possession. He's in the thick of things, and that's why Rick Carlisle finds himself putting this young man into the ball game.
Humphries out of Minnesota, on his 6th year. He was a Big Ten Player of the Year as a freshman. 14th overall pick in 04. And involved in a 4-team deal that also involved Sean Marion getting here to Dallas. Marion is out, if you're just joining us, with an injury. Rolled an ankle late in the Milwaukee game, which was 2 nights ago, back on the 16th. The game that Dallas won in overtime on a Nowitzki shot from 3 that hung on the rim, bounced around, caught a little glass, and then went in. Mavericks on top by 5. And again, Mark, they go back to the post and look for Jefferson doing some work down in the basement there.
He will battle you. He's going to push. He's going to shove. Jason Kidd understands that, but Richard Jefferson does a good job of recognizing, I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to keep you on that side. The delivery is on point, gives a target, and then creates the contact.
To shoot now. The Spurs bring it in. Jefferson picked it up, took steps. Well, these two are very, very successful back in the day. 2 years running, Eastern Conference champions. Could not win the ring, however. Played together for several years there in New Jersey with the Nets. Coached by Byron Scott.
A lot of success together, and I actually called 3 years games for the Nets, so I watched plenty of Richard Jefferson and Jason Kidd.
The Jet, as they call him down here, Jason Terry with a pull-up jump shot, giving Dallas a lead here of 7, 33-26.
Think if you're the Spurs, you have to get back to running your offense through Tim Duncan.
Pick and roll number. Duncan off balance. Gooden ran at it. Tipped out, the reset. Cross-court pass broken up by Gooden. Last touch by Terry. And when we come back, San Antonio will get a crack at it. They're trailing by 7 here with 5:19 left in the second from American Airlines Arena in Dallas, Texas, USA.
Josh Howard is hot, hot, hot. Oh, they have it going right now. And there you go. That's the dagger shot. The Mavericks are on their way to the second round.
And for the first time in his career, when healthy, Tim Duncan lost in the first round of the Mavericks. 4 games won. Nowitzki and Howard combined to average 38 points, 14 rebounds. Dallas out-rebounded San Antonio. Manu Ginobili, of course, missed the entire series with the ankle that became problematic late in the season. The Spurs did lose in 2000 in the first round, but remember, Duncan was out with the injury. So, first time Duncan had the early exit while healthy with San Antonio. Duncan gets his stuff blocked. Dallas comes the other way, and Terry looking for a big lead here early with a 3. San Antonio will bring it the other way. Spurs down by 7 with 4:53 left here in the first half.
Drew Gooden is doing a very good job of making Tim Duncan work, contesting his shot, and then securing the basketball after the field goal attempt.
Gooden played last year with San Antonio for half season. But Carlisle said it was a coup to get him. They drop it inside. And Gooden with a hustle play comes up with it outside the three-point arc, and a reset now for Dallas.
Right now, he's just outworking every other big guy on the floor. Give him credit.
And then he tries to set a screen on Hill, and a foul called off the ball on Gooden, giving it back to San Antonio.
If you're Rick Carlisle, you don't mind that. The bottom line is I will accept the mistakes you make if you give me that type of energy, defending Duncan, and then rebounding the basketball on both ends.
Gooden, 22 points and 14 rebounds in their win against Milwaukee 2 nights ago in Wisconsin. 11 to shoot. Jefferson is doubled and has picked up his dribble. Kidd steps in, rips him of the ball, but walks out of bounds with it. And so the Spurs will get it back.
And there's a lot of times you can be too patient on the block. If you're Richard Jefferson, forget about trying to make plays. If Jason Kidd is defending you on the block, force the issue and be in attack mode. That time too passive on the block.
Rick Carlisle now brings Roddy Beaubois along with Dirk Nowitzki back out on the floor. 7 to shoot for San Antonio. And Dallas up 7. Mason has had some difficulties this year, just shooting 28% from the field. Kidd off the double screen. Nowitzki pops out. Fades one over Bonner. And Richard Jefferson with a rebound. Been a drought here now for the Spurs offensively. Duncan trying to end it with a nice move. Takes it right to the chest of Nowitzki. Back him in and scores.
And that's how you stop the drought. That wasn't set offense. That's Duncan getting in position. They get him the basketball and get out of his way.
Duncan's had 11 attempts, Mark, 9 points. Without Ginobili and Parker, offensively, the San Antonio Spurs are left with not a lot of options. Dallas is going to take that matchup every time San Antonio gives them. With Bonner out there on the island, aren't they?
Well, if you're Matt Bonner, you have to understand, you got to crowd Dirk Nowitzki and force him to put the ball on the floor. Life is too easy, and Dirk is too good.
This is Roddy Beaubois, the 20-year-old rookie from Guadeloupe. Quick on quick. Nice move by Nowitzki, but Duncan defends. Here's Hill the other way.
I think you slow it down and get the ball into the hands of Duncan and play around him. That's the best Spurs offense right now.
Drop step spin by Duncan. Gooden right with him, though. That's becoming a very good matchup here early.
You're talking about two of the best, not just in today's game, but all time. When you talk about Tim Duncan and Dirk Nowitzki, both guys have done the exact same thing for a long time. Stellar on the offensive end, spectacular. Talk about one-on-one post defense, well, you're going to pay the price. Dirk says, well, if you can do it on that end, well, you better get Matt Bonner off of me.
Studio with the Taco Bell studio update. The New Jersey Nets were leading the Milwaukee Bucks. They were. Till Brandon Jennings, the rookie, sank a three, and the New Jersey Nets still have not won a game this year. The Nets are 0-12. Ouch. They're inching closer to the worst start in NBA history. They've lost 12 straight. Could be some help on the horizon. The next game is against the struggling New York Knicks, who are just 2-9 on the season. Guys, I love the graphic you all put up, how the Yankees have won more than the Nets and Knicks and everybody else in New York.
All right, thanks very much, Stu. Coming up at half, it's the Toyota Halftime Report with Stuart Scott. Beast of the East, could it be the Atlanta Hawks? LeBron loses in Washington, D.C. to the Wizards, and the Pistons and Trailblazers. Some good action there. That's coming up at halftime on the Toyota Halftime Show. Here in Dallas, the Mavericks leading San Antonio 35-28 with 2:12 left here in the first half.
And how about Mike Woodson and those Atlanta Hawks playing great basketball, an improved basketball team. I think the experience of last year in the playoffs has really made that team hungry. They're doing a great job to start off this season.
Six to shoot for Duncan. And last touch by Bonner, I should say Gooden out of bounds. And so San Antonio will take it. Jefferson will bring it inbounds. Now he'll defer to George Hill, who's joined by Duncan, Jefferson, Bonner, and Mason. On the inbounds, Jefferson surprises Kidd, just raises up with 24 on the shot clock and knocks it down.
Kidd fell asleep on that out-of-bounds set, allowing Jefferson to catch and be in position to shoot.
Again, Bonner single coverage on Nowitzki. 9 to shoot. Nowitzki will face up. And misses this one. Jefferson will bring it the other way.
And if I'm Rick Carlisle, I come back and run the same thing. If you're going to allow him to get that type of look, I'll live with it.
Kidd establishes position and draws the charge on Jefferson. That is the 8th turnover of the night on San Antonio.
But this is exactly what Greg Popovich was talking about to Richard Jefferson during that Wyatt. Trust your teammates. Get your offense off of other guys, but we want to run early offense and force this Mavericks team to defend.
Duncan steps out on that high screen and is able to get a foot on it. 14 to shoot for Dallas. Last time these two clubs got together, Rick Carlisle's ball club came into San Antonio and shot 35%. They laid an egg. And San Antonio without Parker and Duncan winning that game on the strength of Jefferson's 29. Beaubois has it blocked from behind. San Antonio will bring it. He's hit 2 threes already and knocks down another one. He's hit 1 from the corner and now 2 from that spot at the top of the arc.
And if you're Popovich and the Spurs, you like where you are right now. It's been an ugly half, but your defense have given you a chance. And then offensively, just trust each other and good things will happen.
Both clubs averaging 101 per ball game, and combined now they're up to 68 points with 49 seconds left here in the half.
Got to be disciplined enough to be able to help, and then you got to be on a string. Jason Terry doesn't help the helper, meaning Dirk in that situation, leaving Bonner wide open, the delivery on point, and knocks down the J.
McDyess will come in for San Antonio. Bonner's done an excellent job coming off the bench. 9 points in 13 minutes. Finley with 5, Mason with 4. And a 20-second timeout called on the deck here in Dallas. As both coaches survey the options here with 49 seconds remaining. We'll send it over to Heather Cox with some more news on these two teams.
Well, you were talking about all the injuries that Dallas has had. Want to update you on Eric Dampier, who was in the layup line before the game on Sunday and began feeling lightheaded. EMS workers were quickly involved and transported Dampier to the hospital. Now, by the end of the game, Dampier showed marked improvement, but he was kept overnight. Now, I'm glad to report he is symptom-free, but he's still undergoing a lot of tests. He saw a specialist yesterday, missed shoot-arounds today to see another specialist. I'm told they won't know anything for at least a week, at which time the team plans to announce a timeline for his return.
Heather, thank you very much. And sitting next to him was Josh Howard, who has been out as well. Howard recovering from left ankle surgery. Marion turned an ankle, and he is not playing tonight either. Tim Thomas is making his first appearance tonight, already has. Beaubois with a steal and showing not only quickness, but the ability to scrape the ceiling with that two-hander.
And the energy of Beaubois and also Drew Gooden traps Mason in the backcourt, creates the turnover.
Dallas by 4, 22 seconds left here in the first half. Mason for 3 with 7 to shoot, just did get iron. Reset, and so San Antonio will have 7 on the catch and shoot by Jefferson, and is fouled attempting a 3. Make that Bogans from the corner. Fouled in the act.
Making little mistakes, both teams, to close out this half. The turnover by the Spurs, and then the second shot opportunity by the Spurs. Dallas, they don't block out, and this is a bad foul by Dirk Nowitzki. Well, actually, I didn't see any contact on that replay.
Very little.
I apologize to you, Dirk. No question about it. Bogans didn't even do a good job of acting.
Nowitzki's first. Yeah, he may have just brushed him across the top of the head. May have. Bogans, the 7th-year pro now out of Kentucky, steps up, missed the first, and plants the second. He'll get another. Blair will step in for Bonner with 5 and 6/10 seconds remaining here in the first half.
And this is a lot of time for the Spurs. You got to concentrate on getting a stop, because this is plenty of time for them to get up the floor and score.
Hits the second, and Dallas now will bring it up. Quick whistle, though. We had people, Blair and Gooden, getting caught up, and a double foul will be called. Gooden and Blair, two big, tough customers, taking issue. Double foul, good way to settle that. And now they'll play out the remaining 5.6. Kid to midcourt. Beaubois to Nowitzki. Fakes the 3 and drives. Big block by Blair. Getting up top, blocking it away, and ending the first half in Dallas. Blair on a terrific defensive play.
This is excellent execution by the Mavericks. Get all the way to the cup, but the hustle by the young fella, Blair, blocks the shot of Dirk Nowitzki.
All ball. Well, Dallas led by Nowitzki with 9. Beaubois with the 8, Bonner with 9, and Duncan with 9. Coming up after the break, Toyota halftime report with Stuart Scott. Right now, though, let's go to the court and Heather Cox.
Kevin, thanks so much. Joined by Jason Kidd. And Jason, what did you guys learn in the loss to the Spurs last week that's helping you tonight?
Well, we didn't share the ball in that first game down in San Antonio, so guys are making a conscious effort, making an extra pass. We're getting wide open looks, we're just not making them. So we just got to stay patient and keep working on the defensive end.
A much improved team in the second quarter. What adjustments did you guys make?
Well, we try to, get the ball to the basket. Again, we got stops. Nobody's really scoring the ball right now, so we got to make some adjustments and putting the ball in the basket and getting some stops.
Thanks so much. We'll let you get to the locker room. Kevin?
Heather, thank you very much. So it's a 37-35 contest down here in Dallas with the Mavericks leading the San Antonio Spurs. Coming up after the break, it's the Toyota halftime report. Stuart Scott and Tim Legler. Here in Dallas, Texas at the American Airlines Arena where the Dallas Mavericks have held San Antonio to a season low for the half. 35 points and have a 2-point lead. Let's take a look at our eBay first half stats. Spurs shooting 34% on the road. Dallas not much better at 37%. Spurs had it 4 of 7 from 3. Bonner's hit 3 out there. Dallas has countered 1 of 7. Turnovers have hurt the Spurs. They have 9 and have only forced 3. 11-6 in the assist totals. The Spurs have spread the ball and the bench scoring 20-12 in favor of the San Antonio Spurs. Back with Mark Jackson, Kevin Calabro. In this game also, we've had an opportunity to see some good, young, talented NBA players.
Well, absolutely. Josh Howard is a guy that normally sets the tone for this Dallas Mavericks team, but tonight it's Roddy Bro. You talk about the ability to make plays, setting the tone, pick and roll situations, stop and pop. That's solid basketball. And then to end the half, comes up with the steal and the big time finish. And you know you're getting it done when your owner loves it. Not just the only young point guard getting it done this year, but we had a draft full of them. We talk about the Kings with Tyreke Evans doing a stellar job of setting the tone, making plays, and being a leader. Johnny Flynn with the T-Wolves. Steph Curry still not playing as much as he should be. And the steal of the draft, Brandon Jennings, 25 points per game, had a double nickel 55 a week ago, and Ty Lawson for the Denver Nuggets. Stellar play. The point guard position is in great hands for the future.
Greg Popovich watched as Manu Ginobili went off with an injury in the first quarter. With more on the Spurs, let's go courtside to Heather Cox.
And one thing Coach Popovich would definitely like to see is more offensive balance. Tim Duncan had 12 field goal attempts in that first half. No one else with more than 7. He'd like to see better looks from the other 4. Then he joked that we didn't put on an offensive clinic, but he said neither one did. The way we both played set us back 15 years. One adjustment, guys, in the second half. He said Dallas denying us so well. We need to match that pressure here.
All right, Heather, nice work. Thank you. Beaubois drives into the lane, drew the double, and there's Gooden, who's been ever present around the rim. He'll finish with 2.
But again, Beaubois does a great job. You're going to trap me. I'm going to force it. Forget about the offense. The offense is in my hands. Made a play for good.
11 to shoot for Duncan. Bill wants to back out under the guard of Beaubois. 2 very quick, lanky players. They're going to be seeing a lot of each other, I get a feeling, in the future. 28th pick by Oklahoma City and was traded for B.J. Mullins, a center out of Ohio State on draft day. 25th pick overall was Beaubois, traded for a future second. Born in Guadeloupe, played in France for a period of 3 years. Rick Carlisle says folks knew about him. He showed up in Chicago to try out camp. Danny Nelson has always done a nice job of canvassing the international scene. He was a trendsetter in that regard, looking for talent over in Europe and elsewhere.
Well, they got themselves a pretty good young player from France. I took French 3 years straight in high school with a 98 average for 3 years. I know 3 words today.
Is that right?
Oui. It's true, though. A long time ago, man.
Here's Hill, drives in, wriggles between defenders. Tipped up and the rebound controlled by McNice. Well, I noticed you had complete command of Beaubois' name. Kidd walks for the basketball, trying to dig it out in traffic. Rick Carlisle can't believe the call and lets Leroy Richardson know.
So Carlisle is making a case that Kidd actually leaped and then put the ball on the floor. So that's just like a dribble.
Ross, nice defense across the middle on Jefferson, and the pass disrupted. Ross getting in the passing lane. Gooden hustles for it. Kidd, who moved by Magic Johnson for third on the all-time assist list, giving to Ross and making the extra pass to Nowitzki, and that opens it up for Dallas to a 6-point lead.
And you get the sense that Carlisle in the locker room said at halftime, the only way we can lose is they outwork us, because the Mavs have come out and really set the tone.
Was that ever a nice move? The drop step, high bank. Duncan has gotten off 13 shots, has 11 points to lead San Antonio. Bobois, good movement off the ball to get open. Drops it to Kidd, off to Ross for three. And Dallas has misfired tonight from three-point range. Duncan starting to heat up.
A bad job by Drew Gooden that time, missing his assignment, leaving the body of Tim Duncan, allowing him to step into a foul line jump.
Well, Greg Popovich told us that Nowitzki's going to get a variety of looks tonight defensively. McDyess shadows him, and then Richardson finishes him off with a nice block. Last touch by Dallas.
And I think if you're Popovich, you realize, hey, Duncan is rolling. Let me continue to get him the basketball. Here's where you slow the pace down and put the big fella on the block.
Bobois and Hill really having a nice battle out front. Bobois negotiates by Duncan's screen and then gets a hand above the foul line on Hill, and a quick foul. That's his first.
And if you're Hill, you have to be confident enough to say, hey, I want to run the sets, but I'm not going to allow you to hound me the length of the floor. Use your speed and create offense.
That is a beautiful shot from Finley.
That's a big-time move by Michael Finley. It's good defense from Jason Kidd. Forces him into a tough one. Finley has made a living knocking down shots like that.
7 off the bench. Gooden dives to the middle. Again, ball deflected away by Jefferson. Keeping it alive. Gooden score the basket. And Drew Gooden is fouled.
Love the energy of Drew Gooden. Takes a tough one, misses it, but pursues the basketball. Doesn't give up on the play. Finds himself knocking down a lay-in and getting the contact.
Well-traveled Drew Gooden to the line. Spent a half a season with Memphis his rookie year before moving on to Orlando via trade. And was only there a year and a half. Finley missing the shot, and Gooden, who had missed the free throw, down the floor for the rebound to get Dallas back on the offensive end.
If you're Tim Duncan, that's a very good outlet pass if that's Tony Parker going 1-on-2. If it's Mike Finley, you want to control the tempo and run offense. Bad execution by the Spurs on that last possession.
Bobois along the end line. 9 to shoot. Ross muscles up. Another good interior defensive play by San Antonio, Mark. The Spurs hanging around. Down 2 on the road. They can tie it now or take the lead with this. And they do. And it's Richard Jefferson from long range. 46-45. Spurs take the lead with 7.5 minutes to go here in the third.
But you see the last possession. Patience, ran offense, and wound up with a high percentage look because of it.
Bobois knifes into his own. own man, Gooden, and he walks for the basketball. This gives it back to the Spurs. 7 off the bench. Gooden, who had missed the free throw, down the floor for the rebound to get Dallas back on the offensive end.
You understand the scouting report. So they get the ball into the hands of McDyess, gets the defense in the air. Kid has to rotate, delivers the pass on point to Richard Jefferson, knocks down the three-point.
And that is the Spurs' first leads that's late in the first quarter. Hill being watched by Nowitzki on the switch. Beaubois has McDyess, and Hill's looking for him. He'll pull up and fire over Gooden. Sudden pull-up by George Hill. San Antonio Spurs have toughened up with their interior defense, and it has fueled their offense to a three-point lead.
You talk about George Hill. Waves off the pick and roll, knocks down the jump. Spurs getting it done.
ESPN's presentation of NBA Wednesday. Brought to you by Left 4 Dead 2.
The San Antonio Spurs care about the community. Spurs forward Richard Jefferson recently took a timeout to host a week-long basketball camp for youngsters in California, where he's from. Jefferson showed the group how they can get NBA fit while making new friends and having fun. The NBA, where caring happens. Richard Jefferson coming on the scene after 7 years with the New Jersey Nets, a year in Milwaukee, traded for Bruce Bowen, Fabrizio Alberto, and Kurt Thomas. Averaging nearly 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 32 minutes. Gives you great work every night. Plays solid defense. 14 to shoot now for the Dallas Mavericks. We've seen their lead whittled away and diminished now because of San Antonio's stout defense. Spurs have taken the lead at 48-45. Pick and pop, 12 to shoot. Duncan fading. How do you stop that?
Not much you can do if you're Drew Gooden. That's why Tim Duncan has gotten it done for so long.
Here's Nowitzki. And Nowitzki fouled, fading away with McDyess on defense. Here's Greg Popovich during the timeout, coaching his team.
The defensive pressure is much better, and it helps us. It destroys their spacing and makes it a lot tougher for them, so keep up that pressure. We got to go to the board, though.
Makes a lot of sense. We talked to Popovich before the game. He says, what are the keys if your team is going to get back to championship level? The thing he put a star by is defense. We must play Spurs defense. They certainly have done that to start this half. Closing down, making life tough for the Mavericks.
Well, they've had Dallas under 40% for majority of the game. Dallas at 37%. Prior to that timeout that you saw a moment ago here on their home court. Bonner flashes open, but Nowitzki picks him up, and Bonner forced to pick up the dribble, walks with it.
And Tim Duncan immediately looks at the bench and says, my fault. You don't want to put Bonner in that position. You want to put him in position to catch and shoot. Other than that, throw the basketball back to Richard Jefferson and continue to play two-man game.
12 turnovers on San Antonio. Dallas trailing by 3. 5:40 to go in the third. Again, single coverage with Bonner on Nowitzki. They bring a double. He throws out of it. And Ross's pass over to Terry is deflected by Hill, and it looked like it went off the Jets' leg.
It actually did. That's a missed call. Referee did not see it. Certainly went off the leg of Jason Terry, but the Mavericks get the ball back.
With 10 to shoot. Kidd for 3. Here's Hill. The early probe right to the cup. Missed it. Duncan, the tip followed. Over Gooden, wouldn't go. Kidd bouncing ahead to Terry. Nowitzki's got Hill on him. Duncan comes to help. Gooden picked up by Jefferson. 12 to shoot. Nowitzki wriggles by Hill. Crosses over, and Duncan reaching in, but it was Hill that fouled him. That's his third. And the third team foul on the San Antonio Spurs.
If you're Popovich, that's outstanding defense.
Coming up On TNT, Phoenix and New Orleans on Thursday at 8 Eastern. Chicago and Los Angeles to meet the Lakers at 10:30 Eastern. That's on Thursday. And then Orlando at Boston on Friday on ESPN beginning at 8 Eastern, with Denver and Los Angeles to meet the Clippers on Friday at 10:30 Eastern time. And then NBA TV features Washington at San Antonio on Saturday, 8:30 Eastern.
The point I made, you can do a lot of things well and things don't go your way as a coach. You're able to live with it. Hill misses a layup. They get great defense. Fourth issue.
Jefferson around the Duncan screen. Maneuvers inside for a tough reverse. Jefferson with 11. He's starting to heat up now. 52-48, 4:42 to go in the third. Gooden to the end line. Power move by Bonner to lay it in.
Big time move by Drew Gooden. If you're Matt Bonner, you have to do a better job of keeping him in front of you.
Gooden with 10 points. Hill drags Terry down to the end line. Drew the foul. Count the basket.
And this is Spurs basketball. Attack, attack, attack. Richard Jefferson off the pick and roll. Gets the angle. Finishes on the opposite side. Uses the basket as a shield to eliminate the shot blocking ability. Popovich got to be pleased with the way his team is playing.
Yeah, Jefferson finally gets a breather. Hill missing the free throw, and then reaches in and fouls Ross. Third team foul on Dallas. They're at 3 apiece. 4:19 to go here in the third. As the fourth foul mark on George Hill. And so Popovich has no recourse. He'll have to pull Hill back to the bench.
And rubs his young guy, taps him on the head and says, it's okay, I love that energy. I can live with the mistakes.
Anthony Mason Jr. will step in for San Antonio with Keith Bogans at guards. Bonner along with Finley and Duncan.
I like what the Mavs are doing. Getting the ball to Dirk Nowitzki. If you're not going to double, going to take advantage of that matchup. That's a quality look by the Mavs.
Finley has a little one on him, and Barea. Kidd helps out and rips him with the ball. Kidd with a steal. Terry off the high screen on Bonner. Tapped up and in by Gooden, following the play all the way. Gooden redirects it off glass and in and draws the foul. How about that?
The vision of Jason Terry, the ability to make the play, but his thoughts on the defensive end. Outstanding job of helping by Jason Kidd without fouling. And then Jason Terry forces the help, puts it up. Drew Gooden. Smart play, tips the basket in, and once again, Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks bench loving it.
Gooden carries some very good career averages, 12 points, 8 rebounds, now in his 8th year at Kansas. And Terry with a nice lob. San Antonio takes the lead, and then Mason using the forearm to fend off Barea, and a foul on Mason gives it right back to Dallas.
A smart play by Barea. You realize you don't have a legit point guard on the floor. Well, press him full court. Mason, no question about it, the offensive foul. That's what you have to do. Attack the other team's weakness.
Nowitzki squares up and got a great look over Bonner, knocks it down, and Greg Popovich wants a timeout. The fans in Dallas, another sellout, 322 consecutive on their feet as the Mavericks take the lead back. 55-54 behind the hustle of Drew Gooden, who has 9 points here in the quarter. Here in Texas, Dallas at home leading San Antonio 55-54, 3:21 left in the third quarter. Monday against the Bucks in the overtime victory in Milwaukee, Nowitzki poured in 32, including the game winner, and Drew Gooden had a monster game, said Rick Carlisle, the coach of the Mavericks, with 22 points and 14 rebounds.
And continues to do it against an all-time great. Gooden's energy, the ability to finish over contested hands, attacking the offensive boards, outstanding reads, outstanding play. How about this? Very alertly, the tip-in off the alley-oop pass of Jason Terry. The bigs for the Mavs getting it done.
Nowitzki and Gooden each with 9 here in the corner for the Mavericks, who've taken the lead back from San Antonio. Correa all over Mason. George Hill, remember, on the bench with 4 fouls. Parker was a scratch before the game because of an ankle, and Ginobili is not available. He left early in the first quarter with a left groin strain.
I think you continue to get it to Dirk Nowitzki. Force the Spurs to double. If not, it's easy basketball.
Nowitzki fakes Bonner off his feet, but just uses a one-dribble adjustment, misses the baseline Jimmy, and here come the San Antonio Spurs. Nice pass off the cut to the end line. Mason lays it up and in on a neat reverse.
And that's execution. How about Popovich going back to his veterans, Richard Jefferson and Antonio McDyess, about to be inserted into this ball game.
Correa off the screen from Gooden knocks down the net. And Dallas by 1. 2 minutes left down the court. Bonner fakes the dribble handoff and drives in to lay it in. And Dallas wanted a goaltend. They thought that Duncan was in the cylinder while the ball was live. And they won't get it. They want a basket interference there.
Partner. Well, it did look like Tim Duncan just barely tipped the basketball in. So Rick Carlisle certainly has a case. So does these Mavericks fans.
And they tee up Dallas and Rick Carlisle, and Mason hits the technical foul shot. So the Spurs take a 2-point lead here with 1:48 remaining in the third. Take a look. Did this ball have the fingerprints of Duncan on it? Mark Cuban thought so. Probing the defense. Takes it back in, sets it up for Gooden. Nice recovery, glides right by McDyess to lay it in. A big third quarter for that man right there, Drew Gooden.
This is a team that Drew Gooden has history with. It's certainly showing the Spurs that he could play.
Played for San Antonio for a half season last year. Became a free agent. And Dallas grabbed him. 5 for 6 in the quarter, 11 points for Gooden in the period. And he's also given them a steal and 2 blocks and some terrific defense here in the third. He has 9 rebounds as well. Tied at 59. Jefferson drives in. Flattens Humphrey. Turnover. Jason Terry jets down the floor, and Bogans fouls him in the act.
Really, that's the one way that this Mavericks lineup on the floor right now, other than pick and roll, the way that they can hurt you most is pushing the ball off of bad offensive trips and turnovers. This is a team that can do a lot of damage in transition. Now, this is getting a stop, and then it's off to the races. When you have a quarterback like Jason Kidd, everybody understands if I get open, he's going to find me. All of a sudden, everybody fills the lanes, and you're forced to issue offensively.
Jason Terry, 6th man of the year last year in the league. In his 6th year with Dallas. Before that, 5 years down in Atlanta with the Hawks. Kidd not only distributing the ball, by the way, he's also rebounding well. He has 9 boards tonight, does Jason Kidd. Dallas up by 2. A minute left now here in the third. Tough, hard-nosed defense on the post played by Kidd, fronting Jefferson. 3 seconds in the lane. Whistle on San Antonio. And Kidd got him the ball back with a stingy defense that time, Mark.
We talked about the Spurs defense a couple of minutes ago. Well, how about the Mavericks getting it done? The ball pressure, Barrera, the front of Kidd, the denial, the help, a picture-perfect defensive trip.
15 turnovers for San Antonio, probably, partner. 38 seconds left here in the third. Terry elevating for 3. Thomas the rebound. Tim Thomas raising up in his first outing of the year for Dallas.
And that's the concern. The lack of size for the Spurs. They are getting dominated on the offensive boards.
Big collision in front of the Dallas bench. Kidd goes down. The ball pops free, and the Spurs turn it over again.
You're the man. You want to make sure you get the last shot. They're going high pick and roll with Barrera.
Barrera wants to hold. Uses clock, spread floor. Humphries drives in between defenders. Missed it. Jabbed away. Barrea's after. Jefferson dives. Mason dives. Thomas gets it off. Will not count. The fadeaway jump shot will not count. They've waved it off. They will confer. Dallas leading by 4, pending the outcome of the official.
Excellent extra effort, hustle, no question about it. Still in the hands of Tim Thomas. Tough shot, operation success, but the patient died.
They'll review it. We'll tell you how it went when we come back to Dallas, Texas. Good game. Mavericks by 4.
Back in Dallas where the Mavs are up by 4, joined by head coach Rick Carlisle. And coach, the lead has gone back and forth. In your mind, what's the biggest puzzle you have to solve in this fourth quarter?
It's just, this is just a slugfest, and whatever team digs deeper is going to come out with a victory. Your
point of emphasis so far in this young season has been closing out quarters. What's the key to closing out this game?
Well, we're going to have to, we've done a decent job closing quarters in this game, but we're going to have to be efficient with the ball, and we're going to have to not allow them second shots or threes.
Rick, thank you.
What I love about that is absolutely true. The hardest working team has been the team that's gone on runs. So the bottom line to close out this ball game, you have to be committed to play 12 minutes.
Oh, Roger Mason Jr. trying to bring a hard little roundhouse right down the boulevard, and Humphries steps up and fouls it. Mason will shoot 2 on the foul to Humphries.
And this is how you talk to the referees without even saying anything. You want a foul, well, attack the interior of the defense, and that's what Mason did. Made his mind up and drew the contact.
Mason in his 6th year out of Virginia, playing for the Washington Wizards. He has struggled with the touch this year, 28% shooting from the field and 22% from 3. And he's been a fairly consistent player from distance. 63-61. Mason converting, and now Dallas coming the other way.
If you're Popovich, that's the least of your concern. Mason is a guy that can shoot, and he's going to knock down shots.
Humphries loses the handle as he grabbed the rebound and went up. Brought it down, is batted away. Rick Carlisle, what did he say to Heather Cox? It's been a slug-em-out affair. Both teams putting bodies on the deck for loose balls. Really scrambling.
How about Antonio McDyess? Has a history of injuries, missed a lot of ball games, veteran experience, but sacrificed his body and was willing to hit the deck for the loose ball.
Nowitzki comes in now with 11:24 left in the ball game, and Dallas holding a 2-point lead. McDyess will guard him. Malik Hairston in the lineup, second-year pro out of Oregon. Played for San Antonio sparingly last year. Played 1 game this year. Thomas trying to slam it off the back brace, and Thomas is in some pain. Here's Terry the other way. Turns the corner on Hairston. Pulls up. That flick is in and out. Thomas laboring to get down the floor. Fouls Jefferson, and he just wants to get out of the game, I think. He's really hurt, but he goes to Carlisle and says, I'm going to stay in.
On the spin move, went to attack the basket. It's a big-time move. Unable to finish it. Still grimacing.
He just reached out and grabbed Jefferson to stop play. I thought it was to get over to the bench. He told Rick Carlisle will stay in. Bonner's been hot from out there. Misses this one. Dallas secures the rebound. Again, it's Bonner on the island. One-on-one to Nowitzki. Spin and fade all day.
Every single time they have put the ball in the hands of Dirk Nowitzki, he's gotten a great look, whether make or miss. That's how you close out ball games.
Dirk with 20, Dallas with a 4-point lead. McDyess on a pick and pop. Gunning from the circle, knocks it down.
You want a big man that can pop off the pick and roll and knock down that jump shot? That's what Antonio McDyess brings to the table.
Correa's done a nice job to set the floor for everyone. Gives over to Nowitzki with 11 to shoot. Hard left-hand dribble, the pull-up, in and out. And Humphries fouled by Bonner on the reach.
So they switch and put McDyess on Dirk Nowitzki. It doesn't matter. Give me great offense. Still one-on-one. Got a great look. Rick Carlisle claps and says, I like that move.
Against Bonner, 4 for 9. Against McDyess, 2 of 5. They've had Hill and Blair on him as well. He is 7 of 17 from the field.
It really doesn't matter. They're committed to playing one-on-one against Dirk Nowitzki. He's going to get a great look. They have to adjust and try to get the ball out of his hands.
Correa comes across the screen, has a step on Mason and laid it in. And San Antonio will call a timeout. They don't want Dallas to run away too far. Mavericks 5-4 with 9:44 to go here in the ballgame from Dallas, Texas.
You gotta love what Dirk Nowitzki is doing one-on-one. Bonner all by himself out on an island. Dirk just too good offensively. Fades away. And how about if you, the young fella, Correa, can't contain you, getting to the seams. Spectacular play by JJ.
Ireland in soccer 2-1 despite Thierry Henry, Tony Parker's good friend, apparently touching the ball before passing for the winning goal in the 103rd minute. It was not called. France wins. France going to the World Cup next summer. In basketball, Antoine Jamison, first game of the season after missing the first part with the shoulder injury. How about 31 points, 10 rebounds as Jamison and the Wizards thumped LeBron James and the Cavaliers. Guys?
Thank you, Stuart. This Friday, an NBA doubleheader at 8. Dwight Howard and the Magic take on Kevin Garnett and the Celtics. And then at 10:30, Carmelo Anthony and the Nuggets take on the Clippers. NBA Friday, Magic Celtics, Nuggets Clippers, ESPN, ESPN360.com. Coverage beginning 7:30 Eastern with a Kia NBA shoot-around. Nowitzki, 20.6 rebounds. Duncan, 15 points, 7 boards. It's Dallas leading by 4 at home. 9:32 left. Malik Hairston out of Oregon wriggles to the rim and lays it up and in.
Popovich going with his young backcourt. You got to find a way to contain the smalls for the Mavericks.
J.J. Barea. Oh, a sleight of hand. The high teardrop off glass won't go, and Gooden got popped right in the back or maybe the hamstring. He hobbles the other way as Hill knifes into the lane and is fouled by Barea. Gooden just got flattened on the last play. Take a look.
That's a good job by Bonner also. Fortunately, on the way down, taps the back of Gooden and says, sorry about that, glad you're okay. But good job by Bonner going after the ball.
It has been a battle here tonight with the Mavericks shooting 37% for the ballgame. San Antonio shooting 44. Hill splits a pair of free throws. Mavericks come in with a very good record at 8-3, 3-1 at home, 5-2 on the road. They and Phoenix coming into tonight's play at the best winning percentage on the road. San Antonio has yet to win a road game. They lost at Chicago, Utah, and Portland. Nowitzki continues the heat check mark with 22.
And really, that last possession, that's an assist for Jason Kidd with a solid screen, creating the opening for Nowitzki.
9 to shoot for Hill. Lean in. Got it. Hill, the second-year pro out of IUPUI in Indianapolis, Indiana. His hometown.
And once again, Kidd setting the screen. They're looking to go to Dirk.
9 to shoot. And again, it's Bonner on Nowitzki, and again the clear out. And Nowitzki turns and faces, and he hits. And that's all you can do if you're Bonner, right?
That's all you can do, but you got to crowd him. You got to force Dirk Nowitzki to put the ball on the floor, fight before the catch, and then trust that help is going to be in position.
Nowitzki with 24. Hairston again in the lane, but he walked with the basketball. Bucket won't count. Dallas will take it back, leading by 3. 7:46 to play. 17 turnovers on San Antonio.
Here's where you got to crowd him.
There it is.
Hey, one time, take a foul. That's a good foul. That's basketball. That's old-fashioned basketball. You're not going to leave me out on the island. I'm going to punish you. I'll take a foul, and then we'll start all over again.
And Nowitzki takes 2 steps at Bonner, and then the teams get together for discussion. And Bonner continues out there defensively on Nowitzki, where Nowitzki's hit him for 6 of 11. McDyess has played him a little bit, and he's come up with 24 on 9 of 19.
The difference is they're allowing them to play one-on-one. Dirk is too good offensively that if you allow him to get to a sweet spot, he's going to punish you time and time again. High percentage shots off one-on-one play. Puts the ball on the floor, gets into the thick of things. Outstanding reads by Dirk. Has Bonner on his heels all night long. Happy feet, hand down, man down.
Non-shooting foul. Bonner comes out, and McDyess is in now on Nowitzki with 10 to shoot. Terry will take over off the screen.
And the difference on that possession, McDyess extended, denied Dirk Nowitzki the basketball, and gave his team a chance to defend.
Hairston got trapped down on the inline, finds Duncan, who makes himself available. Avoids Terry, leans in over Nowitzki, missed it. Nowitzki with a rebound. Here comes Kidd. Terry for 3. The crowd on their feet, raising expectantly. He knocks it down. Terry flies the other way, and the Mavericks take a 6-point lead with just under 7 minutes remaining in the contest.
This team is too good when you allow them to fill the lanes in transition. Shooters, the ultimate quarterback, and Kidd makes the right decisions. You know, they're talking here. Get to your spot and I'll find you. The post pattern by Jason Terry knocks down a dagger 3 in the corner.
Post pattern is right. You can run that when you've got Kidd operating out there. Here's Hill. Oh, he rams into Barea. Well, they say Barea fouled him. 4th team foul on the Dallas Mavericks. San Antonio has 2. The Mavericks lead by 6. 6:39 remaining. 14 on the shot clock. The Spurs bring it in play. Hill for 3 with 7 to shoot. And Gooden comes down with another tough rebound. Gooden with a double-double now, 15 and 10. Nowitzki going to work. Gooden fronts Duncan. Now Duncan reposts. And the foul's going to be called on Drew Gooden. And that will send Duncan to the foul line as Dallas is over the team limit.
And you're a young, big guy trying to be great. All you have to do is watch that possession by the Spurs. Tim Duncan sealed, Drew Gooden behind him, made sure he stayed behind him, and then gave a target. Basically forced the issue where Gooden had no choice but to commit a foul.
Duncan's so good at reposting.
You know, they call him the big fundamental, and here's the reason why. You tell me where you want me to beat you. You front me, I'm going to make sure that you stay in that position. Uses his hands, uses his body, and then secures the position.
Duncan, for the record, shooting 63% this year from the line. Drills both. 74-70. An excellent second half here in Dallas. 6:03 left, 4th quarter. Both coaches have done a superb job of working with the roster that they have. 6 to shoot. A lot of injuries tonight. Nowitzki fading. Man, he has got it going.
And that was good D. He crowded him. He contested the shot. But Dirk Nowitzki is loving the fact that help is not coming.
8 in the quarter, 10 of 24 for the game. Duncan knifes in, got stripped, and is fouled.
One-on-one basketball, the fadeaway. My goodness, Dirk Nowitzki having his way on the offensive end. This is good D by Antonio McDyess, but that's better offense by Dirk Nowitzki. And once again, Mark Cuban is saying, that's a bad boy right there.
Couple of NBA League MVPs battling here tonight in Dallas, Texas. Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki right now. Dallas and Nowitzki has the upper hand, leading 76-70. Thursday night on ESPN2, it's the semifinal games from the 2K Sports Classic, benefiting coaches versus cancer. At 7, the number 24 Syracuse Orange face a tough number 12 California Bears team. And then at 9, the number 4 North Carolina Tar Heels take on the number 15 Ohio State Buckeyes. Back with Heather Cox, Mark Jackson, Kevin Calabro on hand, and Tim Duncan at the free throw line. Send it down to Heather Cox with some news.
Well, you guys were just talking about how Greg Popovich is deciding to defend Dirk Nowitzki. Mark, he is going to continue to go one-on-one against Nowitzki. During that last timeout, he said, we'll stay one-on-one with some minor tweaks. I don't want you guys to jump up on him, but you need to create more contact. Something to watch for, guys.
Gooden with the rebound. Duncan with 18 points on the Duncan miss. So what about the strategy here down the stretch with 5:21 remaining on Nowitzki? They'll continue to play him one-on-one. Nowitzki fading over Duncan. Won't go.
Well, the reason why he's decided to play one-on-one, he doesn't want to open up three-point shots to Kidd, to Terry, and Barrera. But I would be forced, because you're proving your point, Dirk Nowitzki. We can't contain you one-on-one. The only guy I don't want shooting it is Terry.
Finley with a big three pulls San Antonio to within 2, 76-74, 4:52 remaining now.
When you look offensively, and Jason Terry is the only legit three-point shooter with Dirk with the basketball. So I would stay at home with him and force other guys to make plays.
Duncan on Nowitzki now. McDyess coming to help. But Nowitzki backing off, drills one just inside the three-point perimeter, and Dallas takes a 4-point lead.
So they've tried Bonner, they've tried McDyess, and that time Duncan. If you're Dirk Nowitzki, you're saying, hey, one-on-one, I don't care who you try. Get anybody that's ever played this game. I'm going to make a play.
Down low, Duncan works in deep. Gooden has played terrific post defense, particularly here in the second half. And Duncan came down. He's grimacing a little bit.
If I'm Dirk, get me the basketball.
Ball from Kidd sails over Nowitzki's head, and Jim Capers rules that he was shoved from behind and a foul.
And here's an all-time great defender. Does not matter. Dirk is that good. That's a fadeaway shot. That's a pure jump shooter with a dead-eye look on the rim.
Duncan called with a foul. That's his third. San Antonio's third team foul. 3:58 remaining in the game. Nowitzki on McDyess. One dribble spin. Tried to step through. McDyess didn't bite. He blocks the shot. Great play. Here comes Jefferson. Richard Jefferson knifes in and is fouled by Terry on the reach. San Antonio shooting free throws the rest of the way, trails by 4.
And that's exactly what Heather talked about with Popovich in the huddle. Crowd Dirk Nowitzki, and then the fadeaway. When he fades, you're in position to use that length. That time, outstanding defense by McDyess.
That's the 6th San Antonio block of the game. Points for Richard Jefferson.
But he did a really good job that time, turning the corner and forcing the issue against Jason Terry. Richard Jefferson is exceptional at creating contact and getting to the line.
Here come the Mavs, leading by 2 with possession and 3:34 remaining. Correa trying to occupy Duncan, setting up Terry for 3, way off.
And I don't understand that offensive trip. That's trying to do too much. You've gotten everything you wanted with Dirk Nowitzki with the ball in his hands.
McDyess knocks down a beauty, and that ties the game at 78. So the two veterans, Finley and then McDyess, come back with field goals to tie it at 78 all.
How about this Spurs team? Time and time again, you say, how are they still in the ball game? Never ceases to amaze you. Excellent execution. McDyess, a knockdown shooter, gets a wide open look, and Duncan says, now let's finish this thing up.
Great game down here in Dallas in this second half. It's San Antonio and Dallas tied at 78 with 3:14 left in the game.
And you say how? Well, Michael Finley off the post up by Duncan. How about defensively? Antonio McDyess battling, comes up with a block shot. And then the last play, McDyess off a pick and roll as good as it gets. Picking and popping, knocks down the jumper. We have ourselves a ball game with 3:14 left.
San Antonio bothered, 17 turnovers. Duncan with 18 and 9. Mavericks at home shooting 39%. Nowitzki has gone off in the second half with 19. Terry trying to beat Jefferson, runs into Duncan. Duncan blocks the shot. Outstanding defense.
I don't understand. You're doing the Spurs a favor when you get the ball out of the hands of Dirk Nowitzki.
Kidd shows the double team, throws out of it to Jefferson. He's got 5 to shoot. Intercepted by Terry with a step on Jefferson. And a hard foul applied by Jefferson, but he holds on to Terry and lays him softly on the floor.
And the crowd wanting a flagrant call, but that's a good foul by Richard Jefferson. Nothing dirty, making sure he doesn't get the ball up in the air, secures the basketball, and then makes sure that Jason Terry doesn't get hurt.
Fourth team foul on San Antonio.
That's a bad turnover by Richard Jefferson. He's looking right at the clock, understand it's dwindling down, look to make a play. Was too passive, tentative, and really a careless turnover.
SportsCenter coming up immediately after the game here in Dallas, Texas, where the Spurs now have a 2-point lead on the strength of Jason Terry's 2 free throws. 2:20 left in this one. 322 consecutive sellouts here at American Airlines Arena in Dallas, Texas. They love pro ball down here in Dallas. They are on their feet, most of them. McDyess upended and a foul.
And it's important if you're the Spurs, they're playing post offense with Tim Duncan. The other guys on the floor have to be ready because the Dallas Mavericks are halfway hedging, stunning, and in position to help. You must make them pay the price offensively by being ready to catch and make a play.
Richard Jefferson, Antonio McDyess. Both players were not with this ball club last year. San Antonio has added a number of players to the mix. They're playing without Manu Ginobili. Tony Parker did not play tonight. He was a scratch. Ginobili attempted to play. Strained left groin. Curtailed his night in the first quarter. And Gooden's shot is blocked from behind. Goaltending is the call. Count the basket with 1:58 left now. Dallas has a 2-point lead on this bucket.
If you're Tim Duncan, that's inexcusable defense. You can live with Drew Gooden shooting a jump shot, but he can't drive by you and get all the way to the cup.
Gooden with a double-double tonight. 17 points and 11 rebounds. Jefferson has 5 to shoot. Nice into the lane. Controlled by Dallas, and here's Kidd running the show.
They're looking to go pick and roll once again with Jason Terry.
With Barea and Kidd, you have 2 point guards out there. Kidd looking for Barea, 5 to shoot, leaning in for 3. Nope. Duncan the rebound. Nowitzki didn't get a look that trip down the floor. Dallas by 2, and San Antonio a chance to tie or take the lead. Hill up and under. Lost it as he went up. Kidd with a gift. Rick Carlisle wants them to slow it down, set it up. All right, Mark, you're the point guard. What do you want to get here?
It's a no-brainer. I'm not even looking at my coach. I'm calling Dirk and say, pop and make a play. Bring us home, big fella.
8 to shoot. They show a double. Out to Kidd for 3. Off the back rim. Duncan with a rebound. San Antonio will use a timeout, trailing by a deuce with 40 and 6/10 seconds remaining here from Dallas. Don't go anywhere. This thing could, who knows what the result's going to be. Back in a moment. Dallas on top of San Antonio by 2, 82-80, 41 and 6/10 seconds remaining here in the fourth period of play. Along with Heather Cox, Mark Jackson, Kevin Calabro. All right, what are you looking to do here in the remaining 41 seconds of play if you're the San Antonio Spurs, down 2?
Well, execute. The first thing I want to do is try to be in a position to go 2 for 1, get good, quick offense, and take the first quality shot. The last trip for the Dallas Mavericks, that's excellent execution. Jason Kidd with an opportunity to knock down a dagger off the double team finally of Dirk Nowitzki. Good read, but if you're the Spurs, it's about executing and getting a quality possession.
And neither team with a foul to give. See Dallas with a full timeout.
You know, and if you're the Spurs, here's where you could use a Tony Parker, a Manu Ginobili, the ability to make a play without set offense. But now it's through Tim Duncan. It's back to the old Spurs, is the post up of Duncan and then making plays off of that. What a luxury to have guys that can make plays on their own.
But keep in mind, San Antonio's gotten a couple of big jump shots here in the corner from Finley, from McDyess, and Jefferson getting to the rim. SportsCenter coming up after the completion of this game here in Dallas. All right. Spurs bringing it in, trailing Dallas by 2, 40 and 6/10 seconds remaining in the game. 23 on the shot clock. They advance the ball up in the front court. They look to Duncan. And Gooden fouls Duncan as he goes up. Duncan to shoot 2 with a chance to tie the game. The foul on Gooden is his 6th, and that is a big loss for the Mavericks. Huge loss.
And because of Tim Duncan's ability to pass out of a double team, the Mavericks have to stay at home. He's patient, gets to a sweet spot, gets Gooden up in the air, commits the contact, and Duncan going to the line trying to tie up this ball game.
Duncan 4 of 6 from the line, 63% for the year. Gooden is out. And coming in to replace him is Chris Humphries.
Now make or miss this shot, the Spurs can just trust their defense. If I'm Greg Popovich, there's no way I'm going to allow Chris Humphries to be on the floor without making a play. If Dirk catches the ball, I'm double teaming and rotating to everybody else and force Humphries to make a play.
Duncan ties this game. And Dallas will utilize the timeout with 30 and 1/10 seconds remaining in the score, tied at 82-82. Duncan 6 of 8 from the line with 20 points. Now, keep in mind, the Dallas Mavericks 7 days ago went down to San Antonio and lost to the Spurs, who were without Duncan and Parker out with injuries. Then they went to the East, the Midwest, and won at Minnesota, won at Detroit, and won at Milwaukee, and came in with a 5-2 road mark. And in that Milwaukee game, it went right down to the stretch, went into overtime. Who do you go to? You go to your main man.
Everybody knows, and Andrew Bogut defending Drew Gooden. He falls, doesn't help. You can't allow Dirk Nowitzki to play one-on-one to close out a ball game. Too good on the offensive end. Brings the Mavs home with a dunk.
And Nowitzki tonight has Q come up with the big plays offensively here in the second half. Mark Cuban, following the action in Milwaukee, had this comment about buzzer beaters. He loves them. Why? Well, most of the fun about owning a team is charging on the court after a buzzer beater, knowing that the cops aren't behind you. That's a good one.
That is very good. And if I'm the Spurs right now, other than Dirk Nowitzki, the one guy I'm not going to let beat me is Jason Terry. He's not afraid of the moment, and he's a flat-out scorer. So stay at home with him, and as great as Jason Kidd is, you can live with him shooting a jump shot. Dirk Nowitzki can't play one-on-one if you're the Spurs coming out of this huddle.
7 ties in this game. Nowitzki, 28 points, 8 rebounds in the contest. A full 24 to shoot for Dallas, and they'll bring it in front court.
Popovich talked about Bogut being his best defender. Has him in the ball game right now defending Barrera.
Kidd checked by Hill. Pick and top Nowitzki. Cross court to Kidd. 13 to shoot. Terry off the screen with 11 to shoot. Floats it up. Missed it, but it's Nowitzki following the ball right to the rim. Taps it up and in. And Dallas has taken the lead with 14 and 6/10 seconds remaining.
Talked about Jason Terry off the pick and roll. They look to trap. Nobody puts a body on Dirk Nowitzki. Mama, there goes that man. The putback on the offensive board. Dirk having his way all night long. This time, rebounding and finish. How about Mark Cuban? Didn't charge the court. No. It's not over yet. But he was thrilled with his big man in Dirk Nowitzki.
Nowitzki in his 12th year in professional basketball. NBA MVP in 07. All-NBA first team a year ago. And for 4 years. 32 points, 11 rebounds against Milwaukee in the win with the buzzer beater. And now is putting Dallas on top. But San Antonio will have 14 and 6/10 seconds remaining. McDyess will bring it in.
The Mavs, they got to be disciplined. Too many shooters on the floor. They got to play solid defense.
Duncan with Humphries guarding it. For the top. 2 and 3/10 seconds remaining. And the Spurs have knotted it up at 84-84. The 2 MVPs back-to-back.
Not much you can do if you're Chris Humphries. Too many shooters on the floor. We talked about that. You force Tim Duncan to make a move and make a shot. You can't leave Michael Finley, Richard Jefferson on the floor with a bird's eye view for a three-pointer. The Spurs understand that. It's time to dance. One-on-one, Duncan just too good. Gets to his right hand, and the Spurs enjoying it. Now is about getting a stop to seal the deal.
Look at the matchup tonight between that man, Tim Duncan, and Dirk Nowitzki. Tail of the tape. Nowitzki, 30 points, 12 of 25 from the field, 6 of 8 from the line, 9 rebounds. Duncan, 22 points and 12 rebounds.
You talk about Dirk when it mattered most in the fourth quarter, made plays time and time again. On the floor, the fadeaway knocks down the shot. Curling, knocks down another one. Outstanding job of setting the tone, pick and roll. How about offensive rebound? Puts it in.
Kidd to Terry, blocked. It is blocked by San Antonio, and an overtime session coming as Duncan steps out and reacts.
Little misdirection play. Jason Terry has a wide open look. Everybody ready to go home. But Tim Duncan, pursuing the basketball, comes up with a big-time block shot. I mean, he's wide open right there. How many guys quit on that play? Tim Duncan says, no, not on my watch. We're playing another 5 minutes of basketball, my friend.
He's just up top playing free safety there, Mark, reacting to wherever that ball goes, huh?
Got to understand it, and he wanted it more than anybody else on the floor.
Overtime coming up next.
Steve Levy, Scott Van Pelt. We're coming up on SportsCenter. A double dose of LeBron. LeBron, the football player, and LeBron, the basketball player, which was injured tonight.
And how about those Atlanta Hawks? The best record in the NBA just gets better. Back to Kevin and Mark with the overtime in Dallas. Fellas?
Here at American Airlines Arena in Dallas, Texas. San Antonio, Dallas tied at 84, heading into overtime. Tim Duncan reacts in an instant to Jason Terry's shot and sends the Spurs into the overtime.
Now, that's game if he doesn't follow the play. That's a big guy with a banged-up knee pursuing the basketball and coming up with a big-time shot block.
22 and 13 rebounds for Duncan. Nowitzki, 30 points and 9 recoveries. And remember, Dallas without Drew Gooden, who fouled out late in the fourth quarter. And Gooden has had a real impact on this game with 17 points and 11 rebounds. So Chris Humphries will step in for him, and he'll jump center as we are underway in overtime here in Dallas. George Hill to the cup, lays it in, and the foul on Nowitzki.
You can tell the young fella has paid attention to Tony Parker and how he goes about scoring on a nightly basis. That time comes off the pick and roll, a double high screen and roll, looking to attack. Turns the corner, puts the body, protects the basketball, scores, goes to the line for the possible three-point call.
Bill had Humphries in his sights all the way and knocks in the free throw. 87-84, San Antonio takes the early lead here in the overtime session. J.J. Barea, along with Kidd at guards. Barea early on the clock, releases and scores with 12 to shoot.
That's good offense, but that's also good defense. Jefferson fights underneath the screen, contests the jump shot. You keep the ball out of the hands of Dirk Nowitzki.
McDyess zeroed in on that one. And McDyess still has that jump shot from mid-range.
And the reason why he's wide open, no Drew Gooden, so Dirk Nowitzki has got to look to double team Tim Duncan on the block. McDyess with a wide open jump.
Barea probes the defense. Duncan is in deep. Outside, they flip the Kidd. Nowitzki has the step on McDyess. Beautiful move. Laid it in. Nowitzki fouled. He heads to the line.
And that's the one thing you cannot allow to happen if you're Antonio McDyess defending Dirk. You can't put the ball on the floor and get an angle to the cup. Good job of shielding, protecting, finishing, and creating the contact. Now, I give Popovich credit for this. If you're a coach, your job is to decide which is the best way for my team to win. He has figured out that that's by playing one-on-one defense against Dirk. He's minimized the damage by everybody else on the floor, and they have 84 points to close out this ball game. He's feeling like they should have won.
Dirk with 33 points is tied at 89. 3:47 left in the overtime. Jefferson, a standstill three with 7 to shoot, missing, and Kidd with it. He's got Terry on his left, Barea on the right, and Humphries nearly rammed into him from behind. High screen set by Nowitzki. Nice fake by Humphries, trying to bring a load, but he missed it, and a foul call as Jefferson grabbed the rebound.
My goodness, this is the type of play where you have 9 numbers dialed on the phone, ready to call mama and tell her what you did. Just can't push that 10th button.
All, and the Spurs take over. George Hill off the screen will elevate, and he hits a beauty there. And Nowitzki may have stepped on his foot as he was coming the other way.
I like what he's doing. He's coming off that pick and roll, looking to make plays. If Tony Parker can do it, I can do it. George Hill having his way in this OT.
Barea screens down on McDyess, giving Nowitzki an opportunity to catch. Now he's got McDyess in his crosshairs. The step back, too strong.
Giving himself a chance by crowding Dirk initially.
Look at Hill with that change of pace dribble and the turnaround flip. No, Duncan the follow at the cup. He missed it. Maria the other way. A chance for Dallas to take the lead. Duncan is down. He pops up. Nowitzki the other way and in. And a foul. And Dirk Nowitzki has tied the game and can give the Mavericks the lead.
Talk about a possible 5-point swing. Tim Duncan with a wide open look misses the layup. How about the gang rebounding for the Dallas Mavericks? Off to the races, and Dirk Nowitzki puts it on the floor. To the left, to the left. The ability to finish with the contact.
Well, it has been an old-fashioned wrestling match down here in Texas here in the second half. 92-91, Dallas by one. In overtime, 2:20 left. Now Nowitzki on Duncan. Turnaround flip, off balance, no go. And a little off of McDyess out of bounds. Dallas will take over.
The Mavs looking to go high pick and roll with Dirk Nowitzki. Find a way to get him the basketball. Jason Terry will control the ball.
Nowitzki sets the high screen. Terry from the elbow. Oh, he was due, and he knocks that one down. 94-91 Dallas. Terry with 13.
And that's a good read because you put the ball in the hands of your two best offensive guys, and you tell the Spurs, make a decision.
Nowitzki on Duncan. Tim backs and turns. Lost the ball as he went up. He lost his grasp on the ball. And the rebound is recovered by Humphries.
Rick Carlisle calling for the same exact play. High pick and roll with Jason Terry and Dirk Nowitzki.
Terry comes off the down screen by Nowitzki. Nowitzki maneuvers to the top. Wide open look at three. 1:15 to play in overtime, and Dallas has taken a 6-point lead.
You say that's Jason Terry. Oh, outstanding job of forcing the issue, creating space for Dirk Nowitzki because he scored on the prior possession, forced the defense to adjust, and gives Dirk some airspace to make it do what it did.
In overtime, Dallas has taken a 6-point lead with 1:15 remaining in the contest. Jason Terry starts the scoring with a jump shot from the elbow. And then Dirk Nowitzki getting a little bit of room, utilizing it. 3-point shot for a 7-footer. 39 points for Dirk Nowitzki. Showing the numbers, showing the name. Nowitzki in the second half. Look at that. 30 of his 39 in the second half. 12 of 20 from the field. 5 of 6 from the line. 8 rebounds as well. All registered here in the second half and in the overtime. Correa shoved aside, and a foul call as Duncan was trying to maneuver over and set a screen.
Actually, the foul is on the shove off by Hill, trying to get to the cup. Correa does a good job of crowding him, forcing him off of that 3-point line. The shove by Hill, and the call going against the Spurs.
That's the 5th foul on George Hill.
If there's ever a discussion of the greatest shooting 7-footer, if we are saying that Dirk Nowitzki is 7 feet tall, that's the end of the conversation. No need for discussion, no need to debate. It's Dirk Nowitzki.
Dallas by 6 with 1:02 remaining in overtime.
And sticking with the same play. Instead, they ISO and allow Jason Terry to get space.
Terry the step back in and out. 48 seconds remaining. Bonner up the floor. Hill comes across the floor, sets up for 3. Nowitzki to the rebound. And Dallas now can work some clock with 32 seconds remaining in this one, and the crowd now on their feet. Another sellout here in Dallas, 322 consecutive. Dallas by 6. 9 to shoot. Nowitzki, the skip pass. Terry for 3. Hill knocks it down with 5 2/10 seconds remaining in overtime. Dallas will bring it inbounds with a 3-point lead and immediately a foul with 2 4/10 seconds remaining. Well, you have to give Greg Popovich and the San Antonio Spurs a great deal of credit. They have played an inspired Dallas team coming home after winning 3 in a row out on the road. Nowitzki fouled on the inbounds with 1 4/10 seconds remaining, and Nowitzki can add to his total tonight. Sports Center coming up immediately after the broadcast here in Dallas, Texas. Nowitzki's been outstanding at the free throw line thus far this year, particularly late in games. Now 29 for 29 from the line in the fourth quarter and in overtime thus far this year. And if he can hit 2 here, he would get a season high 41 points. 7 feet. Dirk Nowitzki. Tom Chambers was an awfully good shooting 6'11" big man. Back in the day, Nowitzki, his free throw up and in.
Please don't remind me about Tom Chambers. He made an all-time play against me, but even if you gave him 7 feet tall, he's not in the discussion as far as shooters are concerned.
Nowitzki with 40. Nowitzki 41, the season high. And the Dallas Mavericks have won this game at home 99-94 behind Dirk's 41 points. With the win, Dallas goes to 9-3, 4-1 at home. And they have now won 4 in a row, including those 3 that they won in the Midwest against Minnesota, Detroit, and Milwaukee. Let's send it down to the court, and Heather Cox standing by.
And Dirk Nowitzki gets a season high and his jersey number 41. Congratulations. You have been big when your teams needed you. Monday, the buzzer beater. Today, a tip-in regulation of 3 in overtime. How does your mindset change late in games?
Well, I think, we're short a couple players, so we're just trying to hold the fort down, myself and Jason Terry, we got to do most of the scoring with Josh out. Marion is out now. Tim Thomas finally back, so, we're waiting on our guys, but till then, we're trying to win games and protect our home court, so that was a big win today.
For the most part, San Antonio decided to play you one-on-one. How were you able to take advantage of that strategy?
Well, I think they did most of the game, and I missed some face-up jump shots that I usually got to make, so I was a little disappointed going into halftime, missed a couple shots, but I stuck with it. My team needed me and just stayed confident and was able to knock some down, but wasn't happy there with the first half.
We have seen you play with so much emotion, and it's only November. Describe your mindset and the personality that we're seeing early on in the season.
Well, I think first of all, I took a summer off, so I had 4 months of just sitting at home doing nothing. So my competitive spirit is coming out early this year. But the good thing is, last year we started 2-7, and we had to fight uphill all year long to get back into it in the playoff race. So this year we started off a lot better, and that was good.
Congratulations on the win. Kevin?
Heather, thanks very much. Nowitzki with 41, the season high to go with the 12 rebounds. San Antonio gave it a game effort. Without Manu Ginobili, without Tony Parker, they fall short in overtime. Dallas wins 99-94. For Heather Cox, Mark Jackson, I'm Kevin Calabro. Coming up next, Sports Center. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.